All right, so we're looking at the Unit 7 test for isolation and involvement. Question 1. At the beginning of World War I, President Woodrow Wilson followed a traditional United States foreign policy by what? A. Refusing to permit trade with either side in the conflict. B. Sending troops to aid Great Britain. C. Declaring American neutrality. D. Requesting an immediate declaration of war against the aggressors. So what did Woodrow Wilson do at the beginning of World War I? Number 2. The sinking of the Lusitania was seen as a reason to enter the war because A. It was a sign Germany was the biggest threat to American imperialism. B. It was an attack on America's oldest ally, Great Britain. C. Wilson's family was on board the ship. Or D. It was another violation of freedom of the seas. So we're going to look into the Lusitania for that one. Number 3. Which argument did President Woodrow Wilson use to persuade Congress to enter World War I? A. Making the world safe for democracy. B. Retaliating against China for the bombing of Pearl Harbor. C. Assisting the neutral nations with their defense. Or D. Removing the Nazi threat from the Western Hemisphere. So remember, this is World War I. How did Woodrow Wilson persuade Congress to enter World War I? Number 4 talks about the MAIN acronym, so the main causes of World War I. In the MAIN acronym, the I stands for A. Isolation, B. Imperialism, C. Independence, or D. Idiosyncrasy. Number 5. Mexico was most intrigued to enter the war alongside Germany to A. Regain lost territories from the United States, B. Take over the eastern seaboard, C. Obtain gold mines, or D. Avoid war with Germany. Why did Mexico want to enter the war with Germany? Number 6. Which was not a cause of World War I? So which of these does not fit into those main, M-A-I-N, causes? A. Imperialism. B. Militarism. C. Secret military alliances. Or D. The Russian Revolution, which was not a cause of World War I. Number 7. In the Zimmermann telegram, A. Germany offered to compensate the United States for the lives lost on the Lusitania. B. The United States agreed not to intervene in the war if Germany stopped sinking ships. C. The United States agreed to supply allies with goods in return for land concessions. Or D. Germany promised to help restore Mexico in return for a military alliance with Mexico. So which of these can best describe the Zimmermann telegram? Number 8. In the Schenck versus United States, in the case Schenck versus the United States, the federal government determined what? So what was the decision here? A. The Bill of Rights was to be upheld as written in all cases whatsoever. B. Schenck would be sentenced to death for espionage. C. The military draft is unconstitutional. Or D. Civil liberties are not always guaranteed. Number 9. Which of the following was an attempt to outlaw war, to make war illegal? A. Five-Power Naval Treaty. B. Kellogg-Briand Pact. C. Four-Power Treaty. Or D. Sussex Pledge. Number 10. The Dawes Plan. Did it A. Increase U.S. aid to South America, B. Repudiated the Monroe Doctrine, and I'm actually going to take a second because I don't know what repudiated means. Repudiated. Refused to accept. Okay, so did it B. Refuse to accept the Monroe Doctrine? C. Assisted Germany with its reparation payments. Or D. Force France to forgive all debts owed to it by foreign countries. What did the Dawes Plan do? And when you're looking for that one, make sure you're not looking for the Dawes Act. You're looking for the Dawes Plan. Number 11. Which of the following regulated wartime economic factors to ensure strikes did not occur? A. National War Labor Board. B. Food Administration. C. War Industries Board. Or D. U.S. Railroad Administration. So, which of the following regulated wartime economic factors to ensure that strikes, labor strikes, did not occur? Okay, number 12 has to do with this little cartoon here, a cartoon advertisement. All right, and it says, "Little Americans, do your bit. Eat oatmeal cornmeal mush, hominy, other corn cereals, and rice with milk. Save the wheat for our soldiers. Leave nothing on your plate." So which governing body would most likely produce this ad during World War I? A. The National War Labor Board. B. The Food Administration. C. The War Industries Board. Or D. The U.S. Railroad Administration. Who would be most likely to print this ad? Number 13. Which of the following is not evidence of the United States' attempt to return to isolation following World War I? A. Failure to join the League of Nations. B. Declining to become a part of the World Court. C. Aiding Germany through the Dawes Plan. Or D. Refusing to force unreasonable reparations from Germany. So which of these is not evidence that they were trying to go back to being isolated? Number 14, the United States participation in the Washington Naval Conference in 1921 and in the Kellogg-Briand Pact in 1928 demonstrated what? A. The beginning of free trade markets. B. The beginning of nuclear technology. C. The willingness to reduce armaments and tensions. Or D. A desire to mix multiple cultures. Might have to look into a little bit about the conference and the pact. What did they say? Number 15. Which generalization most accurately describes the literary works of Langston Hughes, Sinclair Lewis, and John Steinbeck? Keep in mind, John Steinbeck is the one who wrote Of Mice and Men, which you guys have been reading. A. Politics and art seldom mix well. They don't mix well. B. The best literature concerns the lives of the wealthy. C. Literature often reflects the time in which it is created. Or D. Traditional American themes are the most popular. Number 16. In the 1920s, the Immigration Act of 1924 and the Sacco-Vanzetti trial were typical of what? A. Rejection of traditional customs and beliefs. B. Acceptance of cultural differences. C. Increase in nativism and intolerance. Or D. Support of humanitarian causes. Number 17. There's a quote here that says, "Suddenly there appeared on the northern horizon a black blizzard moving toward them. There was no sound, no wind, nothing but an immense boogery cloud." So the effect of this mostly impacted who? A. Railroads, positively. B. Farmers, positively. C. Fishermen, negatively. Or D. Farmers, negatively. So this big cloud moving in. Number 18. The 1925 trial of John Scopes reflects the conflict between what? A. Science and religion. B. Isolation and international involvement. C. Traditional roles and new roles for women. Or D. Prohibition and organized crime. Number 19. Which amendment prohibited the sale and production of alcohol? So which made it illegal to sell or produce alcohol? The 16th, the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th Amendment. Number 20. The worldwide spread of the Great Depression in the 1930s was evidence of what? A. The failure of government job programs. B. Global financial interdependence. We depend on each other. C. A shortage of American factories producing goods. Or D. Negative effects of unrestricted immigration. Number 21, which of the following illustrates the United States' view of international organizations following World War I? A. Joining the League of Nations would be harmful to the U.S. B. The United States joined the League of Nations to prevent future world conflicts. C. Woodrow Wilson did not want to include any world organization in his 14 points. D. The Supreme Court would rule membership in the League of Nations as unconstitutional. Number 22. An immediate result of the Schechter Poultry versus United States and United States versus Butler was A. Some aspects of the New Deal were declared unconstitutional. B. State governments took over relief agencies. C. Congress was forced to abandon efforts to improve the economy. Or D. The constitutional authority of the president was greatly expanded. So Schechter Poultry versus United States and United States versus Butler was a result of that. Oops. Number 23. President Franklin D. Roosevelt referred to September 7th, 1941 as a date which will live in infamy because on that day this occurred. A. Germany invaded Poland. B. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. C. Italy declared war on the United States. Or D. The United States dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima. Which of these happened on December 7th, 1941? Number 24. During World War II, Japanese Americans were sent to internment centers primarily because they A. were considered illegal aliens. B. Have been convicted of spying for Japan. C. Refused to enlist in the U.S. military. Or D. Were thought to be threats to national security. So why were Japanese Americans sent to internment centers during World War II? Number 25. A major reason for the United States' neutrality in the 1930s was the nation's what? Belief in the domino theory. B. Disillusionment to following World War I. C. Strong approval of political conditions in Europe. Or D. Military and naval superiority. Number 26. An important effect of World War II on the United States foreign policy was a what? A. Refusal to become involved in world affairs. B. Smaller role for the president in foreign policy and national security issues. C. Stronger commitment to collective security in world leadership. Or D. Willingness to intervene only when the national economy is involved. What's an effect of World War II on U.S. foreign policy? Number 27. Hoover and Roosevelt differed mostly in their approach to the Depression, in that FDR, A. wanted to rely on private charities for assistance, B. stressed the need for individuals to help themselves, C. supported direct help for people out of work, or D. thought the government should not be involved in economic reform. What did FDR push? Number 28. Which of the following was not a cause of the Great Depression? A, overconsumption of consumer goods, B, marginal spending, C, high rates of unemployment, D, speculation of stock values. Which of these is not a cause of the Great Depression? Number 29. The Nuremberg trials set the precedent that A, national leaders can be held responsible for crimes against humanity, B, only individuals who actually commit murder during war can be guilty of a crime, C, defeated nations cannot be forced to pay reparations, or D, defeated nations that can be occupied by the victors. So essentially, what did the Nuremberg trials say? Number 30, an immediate effect of the Lend-Lease program was that A, Western Europe recovered from the damage caused by World War I, B, the Soviet Union formed the Warsaw Pact, C, Japan declared war against the United States, or D, the United States provided critical aid to Great Britain and the Soviet Union. It was an effect of the Lend-Lease program. All right, so now let's take a look at these documents. So question number 1 says, analyze the bar graph shown above. According to the information provided, what's the general trend of unemployment between 1932 and 1945? Okay. So this is the unemployment rate during the New Deal. So this represents the percentage of people who are out of work. All right. So what happened to the percentage of people who were out of work from 1932 to 1945? Okay, and then number 2 says, instructions to persons of Japanese ancestry living in the following areas. And this is talking about moving people of Japanese ancestry to internment camps. So it asks, which court case does the poster in picture 2 represent? So, which court case had to do with moving people of Japanese ancestry to internment camps? Whoops. All right, and you're going to look at number 3. So I'll read this to you. It says, it is estimated that between 375 and 420 Navajos served as code talkers. The program was highly classified throughout the war and remained so until 1968. Though they returned home on buses without parades and fanfare and were sworn to secrecy about the existence of the code, the Navajo code talkers are now making their way into popular culture and mainstream American history. The Honoring the Code Talkers Act, introduced by Senator Jeff Bingaman from New Mexico in April 2000 and signed into law December 21, 2000, called for recognition of the Navajo Code Talkers. An act authorized by the President of the United States to award a gold medal on behalf of Congress to each of the original 29 Navajo Code Talkers, as well as a silver medal to each man who later qualified as a code talker. So your question is, how did the treatment of Navajo code talkers during World War II differ from the treatment of American GIs immediately following the end of the war? So, they both come back to the United States. They're entering the country. What did the reception for American GIs look like? Think back to famous photographs you've seen. Think back to what it's talking about in this paragraph. And then what did it look like when Navajo code talkers came back to the United States and re-entered their communities? How did that differ? How was it different?